Creating music with loops in SoundTrap is a super quick, effective, and fun way to get started with making music. And if you remember from our first video, those loops can be accessed here. And if we click X to clear this, we'll have all of our loops brought up here. Sometimes they'll come up by themselves, but we can always click X to clear it. And SoundTrap has organized this in a really cool way. You have all these different types of loops that you can click here, and you can honestly just scroll through and click and start dragging things in, and it's really that easily. So I'm just gonna play a couple of these. I think that this sounds pretty cool. I'm gonna drag it in here, click and drag, and if you'll notice, SoundTrap automatically starts playing it. Right? So if I want to stop, I can hit my space bar, or I can press the play icon down here. Now, also notice that the other thing that SoundTrap did is it brought up a bunch of different recommended loops that go along with this project that I could use for what I'm doing here. So it brought up a beat, it brought up some brass, some other piano chords, a sun pluck. I think the next thing that I want to try and add in is a beat. So let's listen to it. Sounds pretty cool. Now you don't have to use the ones that SoundTrap recommends. You can always go through and find your own beat as well. But let's listen to see how these two sound together. So I put my play header back to the beginning, press play. So if you notice, my drums are a lot louder than my pad. So what I'm going to do here is just kick up the volume on this pad. Go back to the beginning. Sweet, this is cool, but say that I want a different kind of beat. I can select the loop, delete it, hit beats, and find another one. I'm just gonna go, we're gonna go random in here. Deep Electro 3. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. Not bad, let's listen to this one. Cool. I like this one. So what I'm actually going to do is I can double click it and it'll add it in as well. And I don't need this anthem beat anymore, so I'm going to click here and just get rid of it. Put my play header back to the beginning. Listen again. Woo! Probably one of the most exciting things about loops is you'll notice that they are a similar pattern that has these little divots in it that are repeating. So they essentially, they play over and over again, or they loop. And what you can do is SoundTrap will sometimes automatically extend the loops to fit each other and things like that. But if you go to the end of the loop, you'll see this little handle that turns into an arrow, and it even says loop. You can drag it this way to extend it, or this way, and you can make your loops longer. You can bring this over here. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this looping function that makes it a really great way, or a great tool rather, to compose music. So sometimes you have to dig a little bit to find the cool loops in SoundTrap, but they're there and they're constantly adding new ones. Like you can see, these are all new. That's kind of what attracted me to them here and now. But it's great. They're constantly adding a lot of different kinds of loops that you can add in, and it's a lot of fun. The different types of sounds that you can add into this are pretty expansive. There's a really wide variety. Typically in music, we want to organize things in terms of like the rhythm or the beat, the melody, the chords or the harmony, and the bass. So I challenge you to speak with a music teacher about what some of those things are, but we're gonna in more depth, but we're gonna talk about them really simply. So what we already have here is multiple notes being played at the same time. That's essentially what a harmony is. It's more than one note being played. And in this, we have what's called a chord progression, a series of different harmonies that are being played together, one chord after the next, and it sounds smooth together. The other part that we have that I just talked about that we have in here is our beat, which that leaves finding a melody and a bass. So I'm going to first go up here and see what's recommended. And I'm going to try and find a melody, which is essentially not, it's one note being played at a time. So not two notes. So this is sounding a lot like chords. That's multiple notes. Also sounding like chords. I'm going to hit synth. And I wonder what this is. Vocal dumb? That's cool, but that has chords and a melody in it. So I'm going to just type in vocals and see what we got for that. This has both elements that we need in one track. It has vocals, which is a melody. It's like one voice happening at once, and it has bass. So you can add them both in or however you want to do it, but I'm going to add both of these in. Then I'm going to run it back to the beginning and see how it sounds. Sometimes if you do not click on the timeline here, it'll think that you want to play this sample over here, so just make sure that you click. For me, it's not bad, but they don't really seem to mix how I want them to mix. So essentially, I could keep working at this until I find the elements that I like, and some of the main elements of music, which are rhythm and beat, melody, chords or harmony, and bass, right? I could keep working at this, and you should too. And edit, get creative, drop things in, take things out, delete everything, start back over from the beginning, whatever you want to do. But again, this is loops. This is how to have fun in a really easy way in SoundTrap. And get creative. Have fun.